we get this tomorrow because it was a good day. It was a good first day.
I hope so.
The heat is gone.
Oh,
And
thank goodness.
some pants. I haven't had pants on, and this is probably like April. I wear shorts.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay. All right. I think we're set. So, wow, 1972. All right. Give it a shot. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1972 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great and relaxing weekend. Yes, this was the weekend before the storm for all of us Disney fans. A lot of us are heading down to Walt Disney World this coming, wrapping up this week, maybe Thursday, Friday, Wednesday. A lot of folks heading down to celebrate a little birthday party down in Central Florida called Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, the most magical celebration on earth. We'll be down there with all the coverage. So do follow us on the social media. I'm at BRGuestMike. Follow on social media, again, Instagram and Twitter, because I'll be posting away as I'm down there with Ricky and Pam and Scott and many listeners all over the resort. We'll be in the Magic Kingdom on October 1st. We'll be in Epcot on October 2nd, probably Epcot on October 3rd. So you see us, come by, say hi. Let's get some pictures, selfies, all that good stuff. But today, we got to kick off the week, as we always do, with a trip report. And today, we are headed 2 states to my east, right now to Indiana, the Hoosier State, with Lauren. Lauren, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm sorry that this has been a trip report delayed. We had a double booking at one point. We had COVID. I mean, this is one you hung in with me for this. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you took the time to come on today, and I can't wait to share your story.
I know. I'm so excited.
All right. So before we do this, now this might be the last time we do this. Obviously, it is the last time we do this before the 50th anniversary. I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Disney called you today. They're like, we're running out of time. You got to tell us right now. You get to bring back a promotion, an attraction, a restaurant, a parade. You get to bring back anything from the past 50 years. What are you going to bring back?
Oh, I've been thinking about it, honestly. I was like, I should be prepared for this. I would bring back the Main Street Electrical Parade in Magic Kingdom.
Good call. Yeah, see, I'm Spectral Magic, which similar, very, very similar. Same venue, just a little bit different soundtrack. Don't have the scary clowns in Main Street, but fun fact, I will tell you this. So I used to do, when I was a school teacher back in the day, I was in charge. I started something at our school called Wedgwood TV. Our school was Wedgwood Elementary. And I'd seen this at another school. I always steal everybody else's ideas. I went to another school for professional development. They had a closed circuit TV show for their announcements, like what was for lunch, what's happening in the library. So my buddy and I, which we talked about pre-show, my good buddy Dave, we became the 2 anchors, and we anchored a morning show every morning. And then we turned over to the kids, but we had too much fun doing it, so we did it for a while. In getting back to Main Street Electrical Parade, so we always started the show with, we'd have like an intro song, and then we did the Pledge of Allegiance. And so when everybody knew, because teachers had to turn the TVs on in their rooms when they came in the morning, and when you heard that first din, 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 that meant you heard it throughout the school, because we had a gigantic building, 5 of every grade for years. That's what you heard, and every kid stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance like that was the national anthem, and it was crazy.
That's awesome.
It's so weird. Like our kids were subliminally trained that, okay, that means that we're going to hit those first few notes of them. They didn't know it was Main Street Electrical Parade. I just picked it because it was catchy. And so it played, because then as soon as that first little string of notes came off, then we flipped to the video and it showed the flag and everybody was getting ready to do the pledge. So yeah, back in the day, that was it was a good thing. It was kind of funny. That's
awesome.
Every time I hear that beginning of that song, I'm like, I pledge, so good memory, and I'm glad you brought that back. So let me ask you this, though. A Disney fan, what's your background in all the fandom? Like, how do you find a Disney podcast and all that?
Yeah, so I grew up with Disney. I have Disney things all around my room that you cannot see. We went multiple times when I was a kid, up until 5th grade, and then I joined a travel swim team. And because of that cut back on a lot of vacations. And then any vacation we took, it would be like to go see family or to the beach. And I got into Disney podcasts my fall semester freshman year of college at Valparaiso when I moved in, because I moved in 2 hours away from home. I didn't know anyone. And I felt kind of lonely. I was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, I'll just go look for a podcast. And I came across Be Our Guest, and I just started listening, and it kind of sparked that Disney love back in me. And so ever since then, we've gone every summer except for 2020 because of COVID. But, I just think Disney has always been a part of me, and I'll always be a part of Disney. It's a love for me. And yeah, I can talk about it all the time with people, and they're like, we swear you're like a Disney nerd. All you know is Disney. And I'm like, yep, it's
But
me.
it is kind of a fun thing because with the Disney fandom, you can kind of, it can burn hot for a while for a lot of folks, and then it can kind of go on the back burner as you're going through, different phases of your life. For me, like when you have kids or get married, it's not that important. But then when the kids get a certain age, you got, people say, oh, we got to take them down to see Mickey Mouse or to see Buzz Lightyear, what have you. And it's one of those things that it's kind of like an old friend. It's like always there, and in the podcasts, I agree with you about podcasting because I've used podcasts to kind of be a friend in my ear as I train for races when I'm out, in the morning before the sun comes up. It's quite lonely.
Yeah.
I'm the only idiot out there before the sun comes up and around a lake. But it's one of those things that one of the things that gets me out of bed is like, okay, I got this guy to listen to that, I consider him friends. I've never met him, but it's like, what is he up to this week? And what crazy story are they going to talk about? So I appreciate you letting us in there while you're out of Valparaiso. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it got me through my 4 years of college. So I thank you guys for that. Cause
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So real quick, what was your major? What'd you major in? I'm just curious about that.
Social work.
Nice. Well, thanks for being elementary education, all those good luck. I just say this
Yeah.
a lot of thankless jobs. A lot
Yes.
of jobs, a lot of work. Turn your hair gray really quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about your trip. So give us how this trip came about, because this was one from a little bit back, but I think it's going to help folks that are looking to go maybe spring break of next year, because now book those trips.
Yes. So originally, back January 2020, we're going to take a time travel trip back. I had just got back to Valpo, and I had just celebrated my birthday, and my mom called me and was like, hey, happy early graduation. We're going to Disney this summer. I was like, oh, awesome. Like, thank you so much. That's so sweet. And then, March, COVID happened, and then Disney shut down. And we were supposed to go in July of 2020, and ultimately we had to move it. Mm-hmm. So we moved it to this past March. It was like the very first week of March this year. And we were like, do we just wait till the summer? And I was like, you know what? No, let's just go in the spring. It won't be as hot. Maybe it won't be as busy. Let's just change it up. Let's do something different. And so I kind of then took the reins on the trip. I planned everything from the get-go. I sat on Disney, on the phone with them for 6 hours one day, because I was like,
welcome to my world, by the way. I got a master's degree to be able to sit on the phone for 6 hours. Yes, I get it. It's a thing. Yeah, I understand.
I was like, and of course, it was like the day when tickets and bookings were coming out, and I was like, oh, maybe I can just get in real fast. Well, I couldn't get in, but my mom did on her phone. So then my mom didn't have her phone for 6+ hours.
Yep. I know.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
Skype is your friend. I call on my cell phone, on Skype, on Google Hangout. Yeah, whatever it takes. Yeah, no, I get it. So, but you took the reins. So now, when you picked this first week, was it because of just your scheduling, or was it because of Flower and Garden was going on? Was there a reason you went down at the beginning of March?
Yeah. So I'm in grad school. I started grad school right after I graduated in May 2020 from my undergrad. And my grad school's online, and I was doing that, working a full-time job and getting ready to start an internship in the summer. And so I was like, okay, honestly, we're going to have to go in the spring because of my schedule. And it fell where it was the end of one semester for me. So then I would be starting a next one the week of Disney, which wouldn't be as stressful as a finals week.
Right.
And so I had to plan it around my schedule. And I was like, okay, we got to go when I can get off work. We got to go around grad school. We got to go before I start internship. And it just kind of fell on that week. I did not know that Flower and Garden was going to be that week. I completely spaced it was a thing. And so we actually went to Epcot the day before the festival.
Oh, well, that's not.
So
That's right.
we still got to see like all the flowers and the
Right.
topiaries and everything, but like it was kind of a blessing in disguise that we went the day before, which I can go on about a little bit later. But yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about you guys stayed at Pop Century. Actually, I just changed for my trip later on this week. I was staying at Coronado, switched to Pop to save a little money because it was available, and I want a little Skyliner access. Got to admit, now you mentioned this was your first experience with the Skyliner, but why did you guys pick Pop initially? Was it the draw of the Skyliner, or was it the rooms? Was it the theme? What'd you got there?
Yeah, so the Skyliner drawed me in. I was like, I need to go on this thing. I need to experience it. And then, the last trip we had taken where we stayed in a hotel was when I was in 5th grade and we stayed at Pop. And I was like, okay, we've been to Pop before. We like it. We like the theming. It's really nice. It has the Skyliner. I was like, it's kind of like the best of both worlds here. And so that's why I ultimately picked it because my parents are like, where do you want to stay?
Mm-hmm.
That's in budget.
Right, I know.
I was like, well, we could do Polynesian, but that's just way too much money.
Right.
So I was like, well, we're gonna go to Pop, and that's how I kind of decided that we would go there.
Yeah, see if I let my daughters pick, a vacation, I'm like, where do you want to stay in the value category? I gotta quantify that because
Yeah.
Mallory has a Beverly Hills kind of taste, and we're not on that kind of a budget. So yeah, that's one of those things. I totally get it as a dad. Okay, so you guys go down, and you said that you had some friends that were local. So that first night upon your arrival, you guys just met up,
Mhm.
some local.
Yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that?
So I have some family that lives down there in Orlando, and two of my cousins, their husbands and kids live there. And so that first full day, we didn't go to a park. We just hung out with them. We went to like lunch. We just hung out. And, it was really nice to not have to jump right into a park and feel stress. And so it kind of helped lead into the week to where I wasn't as stressed. My parents weren't as stressed. We got to see family who we hadn't seen in about 2 years. So that was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And I love seeing my cousins. So
Actually,
yeah.
it makes it a lot better for the trip down if you're not saying, like, because I'm in that boat. Sometimes we're just like, I just give up that travel day. I'm just like, I'm just going to get to the hotel, maybe swim, grab some dinner at the food court, call it a night. But those days where I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting there at like 4. I'm like, well, I could still go to then I'm stressed. Like, okay, now Magical Express seems to take longer. It takes longer to get my bags, then it's just like, I feel like I'm on the clock the whole time. So you're right. If you can just take that first travel day and just relax and, like you said, catch up with some friends, have a good dinner, then because the next morning I'm looking at your notes, you guys went to the studio, so you took advantage of the Skyliner straight away. Right at
Oh yeah.
there. So how was your day in the studios? Your first full day in the parks?
It was so much fun. We didn't do Rise of the Resistance, which I woke up early for that to get it on, and we just didn't get it, which was okay. But it was fun because we hadn't done like a full Hollywood Studios day since I was a kid.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was a whole new experience. However, there was a glitch like first thing because we went to our first ride of the day was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And my mom has multiple sclerosis, so she's in a wheelchair. And so she's like, "Can I get on it? Like, are we going to be okay? It's not going to break down, is it?" I was like, "Oh, we'll be fine. It's okay."
And I've taught my family never say those kind of things out loud because you've just spoken it into existence. Like my wife will ask me all the time, "Do you catch up on your emails?" I'm like, "I just got 12 emails because you said that." Yes, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I spoke it into existence and we got on. It was only like a 15-minute wait. We got on as we're going into the last room, ride stops, all the lights come on, and you just hear, we're having to get everyone off. So then my mom is sitting between me and my dad. She's freaking out. She was like, "You lied to me. Why did you do that? Like, how are we gonna get off of here? What do we do? I'm freaking out." And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And so we got off safely and we got 3 of like the fast pass kind of
Mhm. Yeah.
things. And my mom looked at me and she was like, "I'm not getting back on that. You cannot make me get back on that. We're done."
Well, she
I was
saw
like,
like
"Okay."
95 she saw like 95% of the ride, it sounds like. So, I mean, there you
Yeah.
go.
She was fine.
Happy ending.
She was like, "I don't need to see the end. It's okay." And I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Honestly, if
And
you
so,
get to the room where you get to do the little cha-cha dance, it's all gravy after that, nothing
yeah,
nothing big.
I was like, "We got through the dancing scene. That's all that matters. We're good to go." That's it. But that was like the only hiccup that day. And then, my parents gave me all 3 passes. So I did Slinky Dog Dash, Tower of Terror, and then I went back on Mickey and Minnie's to go through the whole thing, which was fun. And then my favorite part of the day, I love the Frozen sing along.
Me too.
I
Me
love
too.
it.
We really this past summer, we did it twice, and I had forgotten how good that is, and it's not just like the songs. The songs are powerful because I just have kind of it's weird because it Frozen, the original movie, came out on my birthday on November 27th in theaters, and I went to see it with and I have 2 daughters, and, there's a lot of things that, like, it seemed like, man, that movie was, like, released for me, even though it's like, it's a little girl movie for the most part, but, the songs are great, but it's, like, the humor in there, and the
It's
storytellers are so good, and the visual effects within the theater, it's a solid show, and I forgot how
it's
good it was.
so good. It's so good. I'm a big Frozen fan. Like, I love Olaf. Like, I wore Olaf ears to Hollywood Studios, and because my mom was in a wheelchair, we got front row seats. And so I'm interacting with the storytellers and, they're singing with me when Hans comes out, I forgot her name, but the woman storyteller,
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh, hubba bubba," like all the things. And then all of us older women are like, "Oh my gosh," like, yes. My parents are sitting by me. My mom's dying. She's laughing so hard. And my dad's just sitting there like, "Oh my gosh, why is my 23-year-old daughter like doing this right now in front row?" But it was just such a great experience. And they sell the show.
They do.
Like, they're just so good, and, I always have a tear at the end when the snow starts going and they're singing "Let It Go," and I'm like, "I'm okay, I'm okay."
I think what it is when you walk out of that theater, you see that everybody, I mean, they can take, the theater's pretty large because I remember back when they used to have American Idol experience in there, I mean, it holds quite a few people for a show.
Oh, yeah.
And that last scene with the snow, with Let It Go and everything, it's so powerful. Like when everybody gets up to leave the theater, like you said, I mean, everybody's happy. I mean, like everybody walks
Mhm.
out there
Yeah,
like you don't see anybody really grumpy. Everybody's like, man, that was a good show. Everybody's like, that was
yeah,
awesome. And you don't get that everywhere, Some people are like, that was boring. Not there.
yeah, no, I love that show, and then we did, Muppets 3D, which we had never done before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we did a lot of things that we've never done before on this trip, which was kinda fun, but yeah, we've never done it before, and I'm not a big 3D person, it can give me headaches, but I made it through that one okay. I thought it was funny, it was cute, and my parents liked it, so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Um, we did walk through Galaxy's Edge because my dad is a big Star Wars fan. My mom hates Star Wars.
Oof.
She could have cared. I know, I know. And I was like, "Oh gosh." She's like, "We can walk through, but I'm not gonna know anything that's going on. Like, this is for you and your father. Like,
Oh, she's a good
I
sport.
know nothing." Yeah. 'Cause she knew that there'd be other things for her throughout the trip, and
Right.
she knew that this is, like, the one thing that my dad, like, wanted to see,
It's a good
and
yeah,
so
that's a great tip
yeah,
for a Disney, trip because it's gonna be things that you're into, some things other people in your party are into, just kind of, absorb it all. Uh-oh. We we just lost Lauren. I hear you, but I don't see you. Oh, what happened? Was it sometimes the software is buggy. Hang on one second. Let me write down the time. Let's see. It was 18:50. Let's see. Can you still hear me? Okay, we can just keep going then because it's audio anyway. Okay, so, yeah, so okay, so I'll set you back up here. Let me think. Okay, we were talking about Star Wars. So let me ask you though, real quick. Your mom kind of took one for the team by going through Galaxy's Edge, but what were your thoughts? Because obviously you had heard a lot about it. Did it live up to what you were expecting to see, or was there anything surprised you about Galaxy's Edge? Yeah, I think that's one of those things that if you don't understand like the whole canon and all the movies, there's gonna be a lot of stuff you miss. But I think generally you can kind of see it and see, it's pretty neat. It's just there's droids, there's a Wookiee, and I don't know what that exactly is. There's stormtroopers, and it looks like a heroine over there. So yeah, I totally get that. So let me ask you though about you guys that night had dinner over at Mama Melrose, which is I hate to even say it out loud. I love this. This is my go-to place before my marathons every January. Eat there the Saturday night before the marathon. So what were your thoughts? Again, back near Muppets, your first time on Muppets, it's kind of a nice little twofer. So did you find the food though to be what you were expecting? I mean, I'm you really to me, you really can't mess up Italian food. I just like the lasagna or the spaghetti and meatballs. And I think it's got, it's cute. It's nothing extravagant, but it's a nice little go-to. Oh, I'm in the mood for it now. I can't. Well, I gotta wait till January, not too long. Okay, so let me ask you about the next day. You guys head to Epcot again. Skyliner access, transfer there at Caribbean Beach, and head on over. The day before Flower and Garden, like you mentioned. But what were the highlights of this day besides seeing all the new topiaries? Yes. So did you guys get there like right as it opened at 11 o'clock? Because I still that is weird to me that Epcot opens that late in the day. But were you guys getting there right as it opened at 11 and then kind of went through World Showcase first? That is when you 5-minute wait for frozen, you need to put that in a bottle and save it because that is not happening very much. I would definitely go the day before Flower and Garden goes to, have a 5-minute wait at Frozen. So that's a nice go. Any other highlights as far as attractions or any other things you saw in the park at Epcot that day before you guys had dinner at Via Napoli? You guys are, 2 for 2 on the Italian dinners, it looks like, back to back. I like it. Rub it up. And something like that is so much better though too when you don't have the crowds because I've been there in like the heat and the busiest time for flower and garden, and it's great to see the topiaries, but you're not getting your pictures with them because it's like 20 people deep at each one. It takes like 15 minutes. I was like, do I want to stand in line for 15 minutes to get my picture in front of a topiary when I could be going and riding on Soarin' for twice that weight? It's not that bad. So yeah, I mean, good point, and maybe I'll have to check it out right before the festival starts next time. Sounds like a good tip there. Now let's jump to the next park, Animal Kingdom, on the next day. This was a Wednesday, and I think midweek there. How would you say the crowds were? Because you're there the first week of March, and this is kind of, I don't know if it's public spring break yet for a lot of public schools, but colleges have everything is really messed up though since 2020. I don't even know. With I'm trying to think, like, traditionally this would have been like kind of college spring break period, and people are down for spring training for baseball. But how'd you feel overall the crowds were for the week you were there? That's my nightmare. I usually do it once a year on the marathon course, and I don't even some years I don't even do that. I'm getting too old for it. When it goes backwards, it just gets me. I can't take it. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. That's crazy. Did you enjoy that attraction? Was it one of your favorite attractions, or what'd you think? I've I've still never seen. I agree. That's Soarin's my jam. I like that better. It's nice. It's like the green side of Flight of Passage. Like if you had to do Mission Space Orange, Mission Space Green, Soarin's the easy side. So there, I agree with you. Now let's talk about your dinner there. One of my favorite again, you're going to all my favorite like under the radar restaurants. Yak and Yeti. That place is good, and nobody talks about it. But what'd you think? And if you can do that, I encourage everybody to do that at least one night of your trip. Book an ADR. Scott's great at this because I never book ADRs when I go down. When he's there, he always books them, and they're always great. And I don't sweat it because I don't care where I eat. He picks out great meals. And so one of the things he typically always does is he'll book an ADR right at park closing or something. And when you can be one of the last out of a park, it's magical because it's so relaxing, but on top of that, you get some amazing pictures with nobody around. Like, on the way out, you could probably stroll by and really get a cool shot of the tree of life, maybe at sunset time or, at dark and nobody's around. We did that at the Magic Kingdom back in August, and we'll never ever have pictures like that again. It was crazy. That's interesting. I don't think anybody's ever said that. That's great. I love I love stuff like that though, because that's a memory like that you guys have that not everybody else has. Let me ask you one other thing though about your mom in Animal Kingdom. I'm really curious about this because back in the day when a lot of the Run Disney races would go through Animal Kingdom, because of the terrain, it's great because Animal Kingdom's so themed, but the ground has a lot of bumps, and it's not so smooth like say a Main Street USA at the Magic Kingdom or the World Showcase Promenade in Epcot. Did your mom have any trouble with her wheelchair getting around in Animal Kingdom with the kind of the textured terrain? Yeah, that's how I did, but I ran. It was like, "This is rough." Yeah, it's kinda crazy, yeah. That's a great plan. That's why I love the show because, somebody could be in a similar situation and it's a good tip. Somebody might feel a lot more comfortable knowing, okay, now I've heard from somebody that's been in that situation. So I really appreciate that. And here's the big question I have looking at your notes because you're this huge Disney fan, right? I mean, you love Disney. You mentioned that already on the show many times. You've been to Hollywood Studios, you've been to Epcot, you've been to Animal Kingdom. Was it not killing you that at this point you've been there for 4 days actually, or 3.5 days at this point, you still haven't been to the Magic Kingdom? Is that hard to save that from the last park? I could not do that. I cannot do that. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I just don't have the discipline. I'm like, "I gotta go. I can't wait, 4 days." I'd have to change things. Okay, so walk us through. So you mentioned it was worth it. So how was your day at the Magic Kingdom? What were some of the highlights? No. He got the message from Epcot the day before, and, somebody told him, like, "Pooh, you gotta come back from that adventure, man. You gotta make" he checked, like, he knew that you had a theme park reservation. That's why we have theme park reservations. He knew you'd be at the Magic Kingdom at some point. Yeah, it's made it happen. I love that because I am so of that school of it's not always about the attractions. It's not about doing 12 things or 20 things or 7 things. It's just about maybe 3 things that are relaxing, that are with friends or family and just, making the memories. And like you said, I mean, for a lot of people, you're not gonna see that on a commercial for the most part. You're not gonna see like somebody sitting outside of Pecos Bills across from Splash Mountain watching, characters go by. But I mean, that's important to you. And but then again, if you think about the commercials, what do you see? You see parades and people waving at characters. I mean, maybe you're doing exactly what the marketing is doing. I don't know. I tried, but I think that everybody has a different goal, and if it's just being with those you love and enjoying the day, I mean, you're at the Magic Kingdom for a day, taking it all in. That I think that's winning right there. Yes. Now, was that back when it was still kind of barbecue, when they reopened it? Right, right. Yeah, it wasn't the typical menu that they used to have. Yeah, they had more of a kind of a southern kinda taste to it. Yeah, I could go for that any day. That's my kind of food too. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, so let me ask you because we're running a little bit out of time, but I wanna make sure we get this the last day, I don't watch a lot of Disney Plus. I watch The Mandalorian. That's about it. So I haven't been watching. And I keep my subscription just so I have all the copies of Star Wars. I watch those movies over and over. But you watch the series finale of WandaVision in your hotel. Hey, Disney probably appreciated that, so that's pretty good. I have no idea what that's all about. I just know the one guy has a weird looking head, and the other lady looks. Oh, I know, but you spent the time at Disney Springs. So how was? And also, you said you had a Dole Whip nachos, which I've heard people talk about Dole Whip nachos. It just seems like those 2 don't mesh, like, want Dole Whip, that's like a semi ice cream kinda treat, and nachos, I you gotta explain that to me, 'cause am I missing out on something here? Are they good? Right. Oh, so it's not okay, well, I'm all in on that, yeah, 'cause then it's not salty chips, okay, yeah, oh my gosh, that'd be so good, yeah, yeah, I'm getting okay. Oh, yeah. Now you guys were at Disney Springs, you said in the afternoon, was that kinda good because Disney Springs tends to get kinda nutty in the evenings? Nothing wrong with that. So let me ask you one other thing you kind of put at the end of this note was that you guys use Magical Express. Your mother was in a wheelchair. And I get this question a lot at the travel agency and just from folks that listen to the show that email me about, using a wheelchair and the motor coaches with Magical Express. And you said that was not a problem. So how did that work out? And just explain that for folks that are in this situation moving forward. Well, I guess you don't have it much longer. We got a couple of months, 3 months. I totally forgot. Oh my god, yeah. Here's the answer to your question, by the way. It's gonna be irrelevant in like 90 days. Okay. Yeah, that's what I kinda figured they might do. That's how it should be. I mean, that it sounds like it worked out well, and that's how it should be. Because everybody wants I mean, I really believe this, like, you need to have a magical start to your vacation, and it can start at the airport, it can start at your home. For me, when I go down to Walt Disney World, the excitement starts at my St. Louis airport, right? Because I'm now away from the house. I'm getting ready to go to Florida. I get because I still do because I just started flying. Like I still think the airplane ride down. I look down, at all the landmarks. I'm like that Dr. Rick guy on TV. I like looking at the highways and all the lakes and stuff. It's like the first ride of the trip, and then I get to Orlando Airport and I'm all excited. And then you want the end of the trip to be not so miserable. You're already going home and you're kind of sad. You got to go back to work. You got to go to school. What have you? Back to the real world. But I mean, it's nice when Magical Express can kind of ease you back to Orlando International and ease you back to your home airport. Then once you get to your home airport, it's just gotta find your car and then too bad. Get well, welcome back, sucker. That's how it usually goes. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time to share this trip. It sounds like it was awesome. So do you have any, thoughts on when you might be headed back down again? We'll have to talk about that and get your thoughts on all that and find out what you thought. So, hey, thank you so much for starting the week the right way. This has been a lot of fun, and thank your parents too for the great they're kind of supporting characters in today's show. I sure appreciate that. Have a good one out in Indiana. Thanks again for coming on the show. All right. Don't forget today's episode brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today for all of your Disney trip planning needs. We'd love to help you celebrate 50 years of Walt Disney World here over the next 18, 20, 22, 36 months. Who knows how long this celebration is going to go, but it's going to go for a while. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff to see and do. And I would love to personally help you plan that great vacation. So drop by the magicforless.com, fill out that quote form, mention the Be Our Guest podcast, and I promise you, I'll take great care of you. Again, over at the magicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click means a lot to us. And thank you to our patrons who allow us to put the show out 4 times a week all around the world. It's because of your support we get to keep doing this show many, many times each week. If you'd like to get a fifth show called Mike in the Midwest every Thursday, just jump on over to patreon.com/, Be Our Guest Podcast. Now's the time to follow on social media. I'm headed down on Thursday at Be Our Guest Mike. Give me a follow right now on Instagram and Twitter. I'll be updating all the happenings from the 50th anniversary this coming weekend. So jump on over there again at Be Our Guest Mike, Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow the show on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be posting content there as well. All right, we're going to get out of here and wish you a happy Monday. So for Lauren, I'm Mike saying, have a great Monday, but it's time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Da-da-da. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened with the video there, but I don't know if everybody can hear, but hey, it sounded fine. So on Monday, everybody gets the both sides of the story. That's what Ben's saying. So yeah, you'll find out Monday what Lauren said to all these because I'm sitting here totally like I'm talking to myself to you guys. It's like, no, it's fine 'cause I can edit that out. It's not a big deal. Yeah, and it's the software gets a little buggy every once in a while. It hasn't done it for like months, but it's a little buggy. So no problem. We got the good audio, so that's what we needed. So this will be out on Sunday night at about 8 o'clock. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show. I sure appreciate it. And you have a good night. Yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.